4 years passed, and life seemed to bloom like the flowers in spring. Mary, Mazi Ochendo's first wife, found herself blessed with a child of her own. She was overjoyed, but fate had a cruel twist in store. During childbirth, Mary tragically passed away, leaving behind her newborn daughter, Chinelo. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a man named Mazi Ochendo. Mazi Ochendo was a kind and hardworking man, loved by many in the village for his generosity and warm heart. He had been married before to a woman named Mary, but they couldn't have a child together. Mazi Ochendo and Mary tried for many years to have a baby, but it just wasn't meant to be. So, they made a difficult decision to find another wife who could give them the gift of a child. This decision weighed heavily on their shoulders, but they knew they wanted a family to love and cherish. Then came Elizabeth, or Eliza as she was fondly called, a beautiful woman with a heart full of dreams. Mazi Ochendo married Eliza with hopes of starting a family anew. And behold, their prayers were answered. In the first year of their marriage, Eliza gave birth to a precious baby girl named Ugomma. How the village rejoiced at the arrival of the little bundle of joy. Mazi Ochendo's heart swelled with happiness, and Eliza beamed with pride. They doted on little Ugomma, showering her with love and affection. But little did they know, storms were brewing on the horizon. 4 years passed, and life seemed to bloom like the flowers in spring. Mary, Mazi Ochendo's first wife, found herself blessed with a child of her own. She was overjoyed, but fate had a cruel twist in store. During childbirth, Mary tragically passed away, leaving behind her newborn daughter, Chinelo. The village mourned the loss of Mary, but life had to move on. Eliza, despite her reluctance, took on the responsibility of caring for Chinelo. It wasn't easy for her heart was not as kind as Mazi Ochendo's. As time went by, Chinelo and Ugomma grew up side by side, like two flowers in the same garden, but their paths were destined to be different. Ugomma, aware that she and Chinelo were not born of the same mother, began to notice the disparity in their treatment. Eliza, blinded by her own biases, favored Ugomma over Chinelo. She believed Ugomma was the epitome of beauty and grace, while Chinelo was left to bear the weight of chores and neglect. Ugomma, influenced by her mother's actions, started to mirror her behavior towards her sister. Chinelo, with her heart of gold, bore the burden silently, doing her chores with a smile even when her heart ached. She longed for the love and acceptance that seemed to elude her at every turn. Years passed, and Ugomma and Chinelo blossomed into beautiful young women, each carrying the weight of their upbringing in Mazi Ochendo's household. Eliza, blinded by her own desires, continued to shower Ugomma with gifts and praises, telling her that she was destined for greatness, meant to marry a wealthy man who could provide her with all the luxuries of life. Ugomma, intoxicated by her mother's words, began to see herself as superior to the other villagers, especially the young men who came seeking her hand in marriage. She turned them away with disdain, believing herself too beautiful and too valuable to settle for anything less than a man of great wealth. Mazi Ochendo, with a heavy heart, tried to reason with Eliza, urging her to guide Ugomma on the right path. But Eliza, stubborn and proud, refused to heed to his warnings, insisting that Ugomma deserved only the best in life. Meanwhile, Chinelo, the forgotten daughter, toiled away in the shadows of her sister's glory, She became the household servant, washing Ugoma's clothes and tending to her needs while receiving little in return. Yet her spirit remained unbroken, her heart pure and full of kindness. As Ugoma's arrogance grew, so did the whispers of discontent among the villagers. They watched with dismay as she flaunted her beauty and spurned the advances of decent suitors, chasing after wealth and status instead. But fate, as it often does, had other plans in store. One day, Ugoma's reckless pursuit of riches led her into the arms of a married man, unaware of the pain and suffering she was causing. When the man's wife discovered the affair, she confronted Ugoma with a rage born of betrayal and heartache. In her anger, the woman laid a curse upon Ugoma, warning her that she would never find a husband until she mended her wicked ways. She spoke of rejection and loneliness, of a life devoid of love and companionship, until Ugoma's heart softened and her spirit humbled. Yet Ugoma, blinded by her own pride, dismissed the woman's words as empty threats, ignorant of the pain she had caused. Little did she know the woman's cause carried the weight of her own suffering, a reflection of the turmoil within her own heart. As time passed, Ugoma found herself entangled in the web of her own desires. Despite having a loving boyfriend named Ugo, she couldn't shake off her obsession with wealth and status. Ugo, with his kind heart and humble spirit, loved Ugoma deeply, dreaming of a future together filled with love and happiness. But Ugoma's heart was restless, always yearning for more. She would demand money from Ugo, stripping him of every penny he earned, blind to the sacrifices he made for their relationship. Ugo, oblivious to Ugoma's true intentions, continued to shower her with affection, hoping to win her love and approval. One fateful day, a young man from the city returned to the village, his charisma and charm captivating Ugoma's attention. She found herself drawn to him, forsaking Ugo in her pursuit of something greater. Ugo, heartbroken and betrayed, confronted Ugoma only to be met with her callous rejection. Ugoma, consumed by her own vanity, confessed to Ugo that she could never be with someone like him, someone she deemed unworthy of her beauty and grace. Her words cut deep into Ugo's soul, shattering his dreams and breaking his spirit. Filled with despair and anguish, Ugo returned home that day, his heart heavy with sorrow. In a moment of desperation, he attempted to take his own life, blinded by the pain of rejection and betrayal. But fate intervened, and kind souls rushed to his aid, saving him from the brink of death. As Ugo lay in his hospital bed, his body weakened but his spirit unbroken, he received a message from his elder brother abroad. His brother, seeing Ugo suffering from afar, offered him a chance at a new beginning, a chance to start afresh in a distant land from the pain and heartache of the past. As Ugoma became more engrossed in her relationship with the new man, she seemed to lose sight of everything else around her. She reveled in the attention and gifts he showered upon her, oblivious to the whispers of disapproval that followed her wherever she went. Even wealthy suitors, who once sought her hand in marriage, now turned her away, their families recoiling from her laziness and bad behavior. Ugoma's reputation preceded her, tarnished by her unwillingness to lift a finger to help or contribute. Her best friend Oloma watched with a heavy heart as Ugoma continued down the path of self-destruction. She pleaded with her to change her ways, to break free from the shackles of her mother's misguided teachings and embrace a life of responsibility and virtue. Oloma reminded Ugoma of her mother's role in the family, how she cooked and cared for her husband, Mazi Ochendo, with love and dedication. She urged Ugoma to think about her future, about the kind of wife and mother she wanted to be. But her words fell on deaf ears. Mazi Ochendo, too, tried his best to counsel Ugoma, to steer her towards the right path. He spoke of the importance of hard work and humility, of the virtues that make a person truly great. But Ugoma, stubborn and blinded by her own desires, refused to heed to his wisdom. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but Ugoma remained unchanged. Her heart hardened by the allure of material wealth and fleeting pleasures. She continued to chase after the shadows of her own fantasies, unaware of the emptiness that lurked beneath the surface. Months passed, and Chinelo, the overlooked daughter of Mazi Ochendo, found love blooming in her heart. A kind and gentle man sought her hand in marriage, and Chinelo's heart danced with joy at the prospect of a future filled with love and companionship. Chinelo, with a heart full of hope, confided in her father about her newfound love. Mazi Ochendo, filled with pride and happiness for his daughter, asked her questions about the man, wanting to ensure that their love was true and sincere. Assured of Chinelo's happiness, Mazi Ochendo welcomed the news with open arms, promising to support her in every way he could. His heart swelled with pride at the thought of his daughter finding love and happiness of her own. But happiness is a fragile thing, easily shattered by the forces of jealousy and malice. Eliza, consumed by her own selfish desires, could not bear to see Chinelo find happiness before her precious daughter Ugomma. Filled with anger and spite, Eliza devised a wicked plan to sabotage Chinelo's happiness. On the day of the introduction ceremony, she crept into the kitchen and tainted the food Chinelo had lovingly prepared for the guests with a vile substance. As the guests arrived and pleasantries were exchanged, the tainted food was served, filling the air with a foul odor and a bitter taste. The guests, outraged by the disrespect shown to them, left in storm of anger and disappointment. Eliza and Ugomma, their laughter ringing with malice, mocked Chinelo's misfortune, reveling in the pain they had caused. Mazi Ochendo, his heart heavy with sorrow, watched helplessly as his daughter's happiness crumbled before his eyes. But even in the darkest of nights, there shines a glimmer of hope. As Chinelo sat outside their house, her tears mingling with the pain in her heart, her beloved appeared like a beacon of light in the darkness. He reassured her of his love, telling her that he had tasted her food before now and knew it to be very delicious. He promised her that they would overcome this obstacle together and nothing would stand in the way of their love. And so, Chinelo's love story took a turn for the better. 2 weeks later, she married her beloved, bidding farewell to the village and embarking on a new journey filled with love and happiness. Days passed, and Ugoma's world was once again thrown into turmoil by unexpected events. Ako, her friend from school, brought news of a potential suitor from abroad, a man seeking a wife. Excited by the prospect of a wealthy husband, Ugoma eagerly agreed to attend a get-together organized by Ako's cousin's friends. As the night descended and the stars twinkled in the sky, Ugoma found herself at the gathering, surrounded by laughter and chat. And there, amidst the crowd, she met the man Ako had spoken of, his eyes gleaming with curiosity and interest. But as fate would have it, Ugoma's past came back to haunt her in the most unexpected ways. For among the guests stood Ugo, her former beloved, now revealed to be the younger brother of the man she had hoped to impress. Shock and embarrassment washed over Ugoma as Ugo warmly greeted his brother, revealing their connection with a smile on his face. Her heart sank as she realized the truth. The man she had once scorned and hurt was now standing before her as a reminder of her past mistakes. In that moment of truth, Ugoma felt a wave of shame wash over her. The weight of her actions bore down upon her like a heavy burden. As she faced the consequences of her selfishness and pride, Ugo, with a calm demeanor, recounted the tale of their past to her brother, sparing no details of Ugoma's betrayal and the pain she had caused. His words pierced through the air like arrows, leaving Ugoma exposed and vulnerable before her own shame. His brother, shocked and dismayed by the revelation, recoiled at the thought of associating with someone of Ugoma's character. He rejected her without hesitation, his words echoing with the finality of judgment. With her head bowed in defeat, Ugoma left the gathering, her heart heavy with regret and remorse. The laughter and music faded into the night as she walked home alone, and the weight of her past mistakes pressing down upon her every step. As Ugoma returned home that fateful night, tears streaming down her cheeks like raindrops on a stormy night, her mother Eliza felt a pang of worry pierce her heart. She rushed to her daughter's side, her voice trembling with concern, asking what had happened to cause her such distress. Ugoma, her voice choked with sobs, finally found the words to express the turmoil raging within her heart. She blamed her mother for the misfortunes that had befallen her, accusing her of leading her astray with false promises and misguided teachings. With each word, Ugoma's anger and frustration poured forth like a raging river, accusing Eliza of being a poor mother, of failing to guide her down the path of righteousness. She lamented the fact that no one saw any good in her, that she was scorned and rejected by those around her. Eliza, stunned into silence by her daughter's accusation, struggled to find words to defend herself. But in her heart, she knew the truth of Ugoma's words, a truth she had long tried to ignore. With a mixture of sorrow and defiance, Eliza questioned Ugoma's judgment, asking if she was foolish to allow others to dictate her fate. She pointed to Chinelo, her humble and kind-hearted daughter, as an example of the virtue she should aspire to. Their words clashed like swords in the darkness of the night, echoing through the stillness of the air with the weight of unresolved tension. But amidst the chaos, a voice of reason emerged from the shadows. Mazi Ochendo, their father and the pillar of the household, stepped forward to intervene. His voice calm yet firm. He reminded them both of his warnings, of the consequences of their actions and the importance of facing them with dignity and humility. With a heavy heart, Mazi Ochendo implored his wife and daughter to confront their shortcomings and strive for redemption. He spoke of the power of forgiveness and the possibility of a brighter future, if only they are willing to embrace it. Early the next morning, as the sun began to peek over the horizon and the world stirred from its slumber, tragedy loomed over Mazi Ochendo's household. Ugoma, consumed by despair and anguish, sought to end her own life in the quiet solitude of their backyard. With a heavy heart and tears in her eyes, she tied a rope to a tree branch, her hands trembling with fear and desperation. Unknown to her, her father Mazi Ochendo had been awake, his heart heavy with worry as he watched his daughter slip away into the darkness. But fate intervened in the form of a father's love, as Mazi Ochendo, guided by instincts and love, rushed to her side just in time to prevent the unthinkable. With a cry of anguish, he stopped her from taking her own life, his heart breaking at the sight of his precious daughters in such despair. In the wake of this harrowing moment, Eliza, Ugoma's mother, emerged from the shadows, her face a mask of indifference and coldness. She showed no remorse at the sight of her daughter's suffering, her heart hardened by years of selfishness and pride. Mazi Ochendo, his voice trembling with emotions, gathered his wife and daughter together, determined to impart upon them the wisdom of a lifetime. He spoke of the importance of kindness and compassion, of the value of humility and hard work. He reminded them both of the responsibilities of parenting, of the need to guide their children with love and understanding. He recounted the mistakes of the past, the misguided teachings that had led Ugoma down a path of selfishness and arrogance. But amidst the pain and sorrow, there lingered a glimmer of hope. For in the darkness of despair, there lies the seed of redemption, waiting to bloom into a flower of forgiveness and reconciliation. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting its golden rays upon the world below, a sense of calm descended upon Mazi Ochendo's household. The events of the morning had shaken them to their core, but amidst the turmoil, there emerged a glimmer of hope, a hope for redemption and reconciliation. Mazi Ochendo gathered his wife Eliza and his daughter Ugoma in the warmth of their home. The air heavy with the weight of unspoken words and unshed tears. He looked into their eyes, filled with a father's love and a husband's concern, and spoke with a voice softened by emotion. "My dear wife, my precious daughter," he began, his words carrying the weight of a lifetime of wisdom. "We have strayed from the path of kindness and humility. We have allowed pride and selfishness to cloud our judgment, but it is not too late to seek forgiveness and make amends." Eliza, her heart heavy with regret, bowed her head in shame, her eyes filled with tears. "I have failed you both," she whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. "I have let us down a path of darkness, blinded by my own desire and insecurities." Eliza knelt down in the presence of her husband and her daughter Ugoma, pleading for their forgiveness, for not being a good wife and a good mother at the same time. Ugoma, her spirit weary from the burden of her own mistakes, looked to her father with eyes filled with longing. "I have been selfish, father," she confessed, her voice trembling with emotion. "I have chased after empty dreams and false promises, only to find myself lost and alone. Forgive me, father." Mazi Ochendo, his heart overflowing with love for his family, reached out to them with open arms. "We must learn from our mistakes," he said, his voice gentle yet firm. "We must embrace humility and kindness and strive to be better version of ourselves." And so, as the day faded into evening and the stars danced in the night sky, a sense of peace settled over Mazi Ochendo's household. For in the bonds of family, the embrace of love, there lies the promise of a brighter tomorrow. And as they gathered together, hand in hand, hearts united in forgiveness and reconciliation, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, guided by the light of love and wisdom of their shared journey. And so, dear friends, as you remember the tale of Mazi Ochendo and his family, a tale of love and forgiveness, of redemption and reconciliation, may you always remember that no matter how dark the night may seem, there is always hope for a new dawn. The most important lesson in this story is that parents should not spoil their children by giving them everything they want, without teaching them the important values like kindness, humility, and hard work. Love is not just about gifts and praises, but about teaching children to be good people who care for others. So, dear friends, remember to be kind and humble, to help others, to appreciate, to love and care for your family. And parents, remember to teach your children these important lessons, for they will guide them to be happy and successful in life. Thank you so much for watching. Please kindly comment, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting videos.